Good evening.
And is Stanley dead yet?
Wow. Good evening, and welcome to Omnibroslive, where we're asking the tough questions. Omnibroslive, I'm OmniDog. With my fabulous co-hosts, we have Gabe Infinity Watch.
What's up, everybody? I did not expect us to go live at that second, but
liar.
That's what live is all about. So
we also
big ups to everybody. A shout out to the goons in the chat squad. I'll be in there. We'll be chatting it up and shit. So today's gonna be a good show.
And from near mint condition, Omar. How's it going, Omar?
It's going good. Good, guys. All right. Did y'all see our trailer? We have a trailer that Gio put together. That was really nice.
It is really great. I laughed my head off at that thing.
Makes this show a lot more epic than it really is.
That really gives you a good kind of idea of what the show's about. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Gio knocked it out of the park. All that he could do with no power in his house.
Yeah, no kidding. He had no power this weekend. All right. So let's kick this episode because it's a long one. Yes. A few words from our sponsor.
All right. We've got a fabulous sponsor known as In Stock Trades, where you can get all your trades and hardcovers for up to 50% off. They have loyalty discounts. Every quarter, they're going to have a special Omnibroslive discount. Every order over $50 gets you free shipping within the United States, fabulous packaging, and the best customer service ever. That's InStockTrades.com for all your collected edition needs. How about that?
Perfect, man.
Great.
You sound like you could do that for a living.
Well,
okay, good. I will.
Okay, you are the guy now. You are the sponsor.
Convince them. You have changed the course of his life.
If it's up to us, there's going to be a lot of discount books. All
Buy
right,
from them.
So speaking of in-stock trades, did you guys take advantage of the extra 4% off that they get for a week?
I sure did.
All right.
I sure did.
Who hauled the most? I did not. I can go ahead and say I did not haul the most.
Did you haul anything?
I did. I picked up a couple books. Some have not come in yet, though. So why don't you show what you got, Jess?
Okay. Let's see what I got. First thing I got was I finally pieced together the entire Red Hulk run as recommended by Ryleymo himself. So I have all these Red Hulk books now. They're not okay. Now they're in order. And I will be reading these right after I read this book that I'm reading next, which is starting tonight. I hauled Harley Quinn, the Gotham City Sirens. Couldn't wait for this book. I've been waiting a long time for this book, so I'm extremely excited. Love Gotham City Sirens. I've already relaxed it, so I can take it right up tonight. And once I'm finished with the Deadpool minibus, I can start it. I got Lazarus X plus 66, which was a nice surprise that people told me about it. More Lazarus is a good thing, so I was very happy to get this. And everybody's been waiting on this book, BPRD, Hell on Earth Volume 2. So I got that, and I can continue with my Hellboy readathon. And from In Stock Trades also, I chose the Silver Age cover for Action Comics 1000. I'm also getting the Forbidden Planet
Jock cover.
Yeah, Jock variant.
That Mike Allred cover is my favorite one next to, of course, the Torpedo exclusive.
Oh, I don't know that I've seen the Torpedo exclusive. Is that something you're going to be showing?
No, I don't have one with me right now. Fuck. But I'll put it in the chat for us later.
Okay. Yeah, well, I love it because it's got the go-go checks from the 60s up there. This is really cool. The DC insignia, I love it. And the Comics Code Authority, I love it.
That's what I love about that cover is it looks like it's from the times. The other covers don't look very from the times. Like the S on Superman's chest is the same S in every decade, which is not true. I'm cutting you off, man. Sorry. I'm just interrupting all your
It's fine. I'm happy to listen to you talk about it. It's a great It's a great milestone issue. I'm really excited about it.
All right, so then I'll keep going. So I just listened to this audio book called Slugfest. Somebody recommended in the group.
Oh yeah, I'm reading
I
that book
downloaded it.
too.
Yeah, it's great. And there's a part in there about the checkered board on top of the 60s DC books, because DC wanted their books to stand out and to get more noticed on what little space they had on the shelves at the time, because that's about the time Marvel was going full speed and had like their own distributor again. But DC books were unpopular at the time, so what that checks really did was just give people a signal on what to ignore on the shelf. They said so they stopped doing that. They only did that for a short time. I think it was only a couple months they did that before they changed it again.
That book is really good. I'm about a third of the way through it. Then I got a book that I discovered on land called Peepland. It's about Times Square in the mid 80s. For Peep Show worker Roxy Bell, it's just another day at the office. But when a chance encounter with a public access pornographer, sounds like something I want, unearths a damning political conspiracy, the performer and her punk rock ex-partner soon find themselves under fire from criminals, crooked cops, and the city elite as the two begin to untangle a complex web of deception leading right to City Hall. So a crime comic dealing with peep show workers. If that doesn't say Just Brag, I don't know what does. That's right in my alley. And my favorite Rebirth title, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 3. Well, I don't know what this is about. This looks kind of funky. I haven't read any of these, so this gosh, I've got a lot of good stuff to read. I really, really do, because here's another one, Garth Ennis Punisher, The Platoon. This just came out, so I was happy to get this.
So that one has not been collected in any of the hardcovers, correct?
Correct. This is brand new.
That's a new miniseries that just ended.
Yeah, collects Punisher Platoon 1 through 6. Here's a look at some of the art for those of you that care. Here's what it looks like. So it's not Steve Dillon, but it's still pretty decent. And then I got another great Rebirth title, Deathstroke, Volume 3 or 4? Volume 4.
Yeah, that's a cool cover.
Yeah, it really is. And then I got kind of a something that I think I'm going to talk up because I think it's under the radar. It's an Aftershock comic called Dark Ark.
Oh yeah, that's a cool book.
Yeah.
I like the premise.
Yeah, the darker powers have commanded the sorcerer Shrey to build his own ark and save the unnatural creatures of the world, such as vampires, dragons, Naga, and Manticore. But what will happen when a vessel crawling with monsters where insidious intrigue and horrific violence are the rule of the law? I have way too much to read. I need to take amphetamines and just stay up all night tonight and just read everything possible.
Wow, calm down, Jess. It's not that serious.
Do we have a sponsor for amphetamines yet?
Yeah, I know. Toothless Jerome in Victorville has a nice book lab.
That would be instockamphetamines.com, where they're always in stock. Another great book, Black Monday Murders, Volume 2. Loved Volume 1.
Shit, you really did take advantage of the 4% off.
Yeah, man, 4%. I'm not even done yet.
Jesus, man, this is awesome.
Half Past Danger, Volume 2. It's got Nazis, dinosaurs.
Can I go ahead?
Nazi dinosaurs?
Nazis and dinosaurs.
Oh, I've heard Nazi dinosaurs.
Can I go ahead and say it? Goodbye, Budget Jess.
Yeah, Budget Jess.
Hello, Jess. Welcome back.
No, I need to think of it as 4% more budget, Jess.
Yeah, this was just once a quarter. Jess will go goofy because of the 4%. So it'll be back to normal tomorrow. I think I'm just going to be getting Carnage tomorrow. And of course, it wouldn't be a haul if Jess didn't get Smut. The guys in the Omnipups chat, the original Omnipups, that would be Raleigh Smith, Kemi Jacob, Titus Kiramana, and Eric Federchik recommended or kind of hooked me on Bomb Queen, which is absolutely ridiculous smut.
Wow, and you went all out with the deluxe hardcover edition, dude.
Jeez, I didn't know they made deluxe smut like that for you.
I didn't either.
I got all 4 editions.
Oh my god, Jess.
Oh, fuck off. Jess, you need an intervention, man. What's next? Zombie Trap hardcovers? What's going on?
You never see that shit at 11 o'clock comics.
No, they actually like that stuff, to be honest.
Oh my god.
Oh, do they?
You also have Purgatory, that Jim Ballant book. Do you have any of those collections?
Purgatory? No, I do have. I have been trying to collect his comic that's considered the worst comic ever, Tarot of the Wild Rose.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, Tarot. Yeah, dude. Here's the sad thing. I used to work at well, this is after I quit. A friend of mine started working at the same comic book shop I did, and Tarot was outselling every other comic book every month because it would come with like 2 variants, and the real pervs would collect both of the covers. I'm like, how is this outselling X-Men? Like Grant Morrison's new X-Men was coming out at that time, and he was like, I don't know, man. It's a small ass town in Kentucky.
Because
but
giant,
like,
that's why.
I don't know, man. Wait, okay, so you are trying to collect that?
Yeah, I'm missing one still. I haven't been looking really hard for it. I think I'm missing volume 4 or something, or there were 6 or 7 of them, and I just, anything with a haunted vagina. I mean, that's what's in there. That's what it says, and I just think it's got to be so bad. It's got to be great. Like seeing a really, really awful movie like The Room. I just want to see how bad it can be. So. Yeah, I am sporadically collecting that. But yeah, that Bomb Queen, that's the smut of the week.
They really sold you on that. What does it take you to sell something?
Like, well, you just said you were getting Justice League America, and I said, oh, okay, I'll get Justice League Rebirth, and that's what it takes. It takes somebody to say, yeah, I'm getting it. And I'll go, oh, okay, me too.
Wow. This is so weak. So
I am. All it takes is a recommendation usually. I read this is good, and I'll go, okay.
So I recommend you don't get Zombie Tramp, you don't get what's it called, Powerful.
What was the book that you didn't, was it Robert Kirkman's Outcast?
Yeah.
Who recommended that book to you?
I think I bought that on my own, which shows how terrible my judgment is.
From the guy that brought me Walking Dead, I'm gonna love this.
Yeah, it was I love occult stuff, and I thought this might be good, and I was sadly wrong.
From the writer of The Walking Dead, shitty Ant-Man title.
Yeah, exactly. There's a question here. Wait, just didn't get the Marguerite Bennett book that came out, Animosity. I believe that comes out tomorrow here in the States. I'm pretty sure I saw it on the previews list. I love Marguerite Bennett, and I will be checking that out. But that's it for me and my haul. That's
okay.
Broke Ass Jess for April.
Well, I'll go next since I hauled. I only have half of my order. So I got the Cable Revolution. This is the one that's written by Robert Weinberg. He is now passed away. He was an actual writer, not just a comic book writer.
Same thing, Omar.
Sure. Like he actually wrote novels, like Chris Claremont wrote novels too. But it's got art by Michael Ryan, Tom Derenick, and Azad Ribic. You guys may know those guys. But I really dug this run. I thought it was awesome. This is the run right before it got like that stuff is going to be collected in a hardcover at the end of the year. It's a huge hardcover for $75, but it's the remaining of the Cable run and Soldier X, which is kind of the follow-up to this. But yeah, you don't, like a lot of these characters you don't see again, like Irene Merriweather or what's his name, Blacksmith. You don't see again until the Cable and Deadpool series written by Fabian Nicieza, because, like I said, they started doing something artsy and something kind of cool with Cable. later on. So this is kind of like the last leg of the X-Men stuff. A lot of stuff gets wrapped up. And there's a few crossovers here, like Dream's End crossover. Yeah, this one right here. Where this is the big storyline where Pyro dies of the legacy virus, and then Senator Kelly dies, Maury McTaggart dies. So it's a kind of a huge crossover, but it's just the Cable part. And then I picked up, using my 4% off, I picked up the Mouse Guard book that I was missing because I crave Mouse Guard, and there's still not a damn volume 4 out yet. Black Axe is still the last volume we have. And if you don't know what Mouse Guard is, it's about little mice with swords. And this is a really, really thin book.
If you don't know, now you know.
Nice quote.
Word.
Let me, here we go. So it's David Peterson. It's an independent book. But the book's been on hiatus for like, oh my God, I think 5 years now. Am I right, guys? Do you guys read Mouse Guard?
I don't. Sorry.
No, it's too smart for me.
Did you never get into the Redwall novels, dude? Like, were you not a kid that liked rodents with swords fighting other rodents and snakes?
The Ninja Turtles.
Never mind.
When I was a kid, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a book. So that shows you how old I am.
Was that made on stone tablets, like in the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Papyrus. But yeah, that's what I picked up. Go ahead, Gabe. What did you get?
All right. So it's been a little bit since I've been on a haul episode because we've been having interviews and other special guests and fun stuff like that. So I got kind of a large haul. I hope I didn't talk about some of this stuff already. But either way, let's get into it. So over the weekend, we had Tim Sell and Dave Johnson in the store doing the signing. So I had to get some of my essential Tim Sell, Dave Johnson stuff autographed. Got my absolute Long Halloween. That's signed by Tim Sell. He did a nice, where is it on here?
Right there.
Yeah. No, fuck. Oh, there we go. So he signed it. He did a nice little quick kind of cool Batman sketch on it for me as well.
Mine's also signed by Tim Sell.
Yeah? Does it have a Batman sketch in it?
Yeah. It's got a bat dick. There.
Oh, man.
I just one-upped you, okay?
Yeah, and you're also probably sitting on it and rotating, too.
What else did you get signed?
So by Dave Johnson, I got the essential everything. 100 bullets. I got all 5 of my 100 bullets hardcovers signed by Dave Johnson. And Brian Azzarello will be in the store with Frank Miller, so I'm going to go ahead and get those double signed as well.
Both of them? Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello?
And Klaus Janson and possibly Andy Kubert as well.
At the same time?
At the same time.
You guys are just going to open up your own comic book convention before you know it.
That's right. That's the way we do it, man.
4 creators. I mean, I've been in that store. You're going to have to clear out some space.
Well, we're expanding pretty soon. In August, we're going to expand.
Just buy like one of those old-ass casinos in Old Vegas. There's plenty of those. You know,
yeah, but that's Fremont Street. Nobody wants to go to Fremont Street.
I love Fremont. That's where all the quarter slot machines are and the dollar blackjack games.
Yeah, that's where I was going to say. That's where the fun $2 blackjack tables are.
That's also where you go to watch homeless guys pee on each other.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, do they charge for that?
At least I'm not paying $100 to go see Celine Dion.
Well, then don't pay $100. Well, you can pay $100 to see Blink 182 if you want, Omar, and relive your childhood.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
I don't know why I went with Celine Dion.
So I also got a big ass stack of Wizard magazines.
Oh, you love those things, huh?
I fucking love Wizard magazines so much that there's people hitting me up from the Facebook group sending me Wizard magazines. So if you have Wizard magazines lying around, you're more than welcome to send that shit to me because I will take it. So not only did I get Wizard, I did get a couple of Hero Illustrated as well, which is basically the same thing as Wizard, but not as popular.
Oh yeah, Hero! I remember that shit.
Yeah, Hero was great.
Where are you putting these things?
In my Kalaxes, like they should be.
You're actually like storing them with hardcovers and trade paperback?
I am. I got a whole section. I got a queue down here dedicated to
Dude,
wizards.
do you think like if you ever get into custom binding books, like would you be the first person that has custom bound wizard magazines?
That would be great.
What
That
I
would
actually want to do, and I'll
most
probably get
horrific waste of money I've seen. Go. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
no. What I would love to do, but I'd probably get like a cease and desist order. I'd love to get all these magazines, all these wizards, scan them in, and make like a wizard website where you can just go through issue by issue and I'll just scan every page, and so people can go through every issue one by one. I think
That's definitely a labor of love. No. Wow.
Man, if I had the ability to do that, I would totally do it.
Well, they make scanners.
Yeah, but I don't want to buy a scanner.
Well, there goes that idea.
Exactly. There's always that one thing in my way. So here's some cool wizard covers. I'll show these off real quick. These are great. Wizard.
Series.
If you read comics in the 90s, and I'm sure Jess and Omar can attest to this, you had to have a wizard on your pull list.
This was our internet. This was the chat room.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was everything bad with the internet, though. Like some of those articles were written so shitty.
Oh, they're fun articles though. Like I was reading one earlier, and it was talking about like Todd McFarlane and Frank Miller doing Batman Spawn, and just big crazy stuff like that. One of the Wizard magazines somebody's sending me is all about like the Death of Superman stuff, so that's gonna be really cool. I can't wait to get that one.
Well, if I ever find mine, you're more than welcome to have them. I don't know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Go look for that shit right now.
Do you have issue 1 polybagged?
I have an issue 1. I don't think it's polybag though.
I can't believe I'm asking these stupid questions. Are any of them worth any money? Like
No, not at all. The first one is. The first one's worth a little bit of money.
Like how much is a little bit? Like
I don't know.
$2?
$20, $20.
$20. Good God. That's the Todd McFarlane issue, right?
Yeah, that's the one with the Spider-Man with the wizard cape on, or wizard hat. I don't know. Let me go find it real fast. Give me a second.
Can we boot him off of the channel really quick before he goes crazy with his fucking wizard and hero magazines? Did you ever read any of this stuff, man, or were you more of a comic buyer's guide? And what was the other?
I loved Comic Buyer's Guide, and I bought a few issues of Wizard here and there.
I can't find it right now. I don't want to hold up the show.
Okay.
All right. So, I know this is OmniBroslive, and I know someone's going to give me shit and call me out on this, but this is going to turn into CGC Bros Live. I got my Fantastic Four 48 back from CGC as a 8.5.
Nice. Beautimus. Whoops, where'd he go?
Dude, I swear I did not boot him.
Gabe, where'd you go?
That was the comic book gods shining upon us and saying, well, that's enough of that shit. I don't know.
There he is.
There it is. Sorry, that was almost a fucking Nemo moment there. I picked up that stack.
You dropped your book.
Yeah, I know. When I picked up that stack of shit, my finger hit my my keyboard and it sent me to like a different page, like Pornhub or something. So yeah, I got that CGC. That's going to be awesome. That's going to go into the safe deposit box.
Nice.
Somebody mentioned 11 O'Clock Comics. I'm a part of their Patreon, and as a reward tier on their Patreon, after like 6 months or so, they sent me a stack of trade paperbacks and hardcovers. So I got Essential Doctor Strange Volume 1.
They still make Essentials?
Yeah, oh, that's old school, but whatever. Bendis's Uncanny X-Men, or All New X-Men Volume 4.
Burn the witch! I'm sorry.
No filter, Omar.
Yeah. What is this? Morning Glories Volume 1. I have the hardcover, so I'll do something else with that. Wolverine and the X-Men Alpha Omega.
I haven't heard of that one.
It was never collected in anything. Like, it was just a miniseries not written by Aaron.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, not collected in the Wolverine and X-Men Omni.
Right. Cowl. Got a hardcover of Cowl.
Oh, that's a good book.
This is pretty cool. Darkness Deluxe Collected Edition. Jeff Lemire's Nobody.
I have never heard of that book.
I don't have that one.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I see it in a lot of like halls, and I see it in a lot of people's shelves, and people talk about it on the group all the time. And something called Regards from Serbia. This is a black and white top shelf book, and it's not actually black and white and a lot of prose in it, so it's gonna be kind of fun.
Huh?
That's probably your best book.
Yeah. No idea what this is. I'm assuming it's something to do with Serbia. So, a cartoonist day of crisis in Serbia.
So you just gave them money and they randomly chose like books from their shelf that they sent you? Is that how that works, man?
Yeah, basically, just like they call it a care package.
We should do that.
Yeah, I've got so many shitty books to give away. Anybody
Yeah, me too.
Start a Patreon just to give away shitty
hell,
books.
I could go through Jess's fucking shelves right there and point out some books he needs to get rid of.
How dare you?
Yeah, every jack off statue that Omar has can be given away too.
They're not jack off statues, buddy.
They can be if you try hard enough.
You don't have to try with some. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
All right, so continuing, Irredeemable Volume 5, got the final Irredeemable hardcover, the one that's so good and so great that they gave you an extra page of content. That's how much Boom loves you. So, and apparently, me and Jess were talking about this yesterday. Apparently, some of these Irredeemable books are disappearing and going out of stock / out of print.
What? So, don't say that. I don't have the last 4. I have the first one.
Well, you better jump on that, folks. I think like 3 and 4 are the ones that are out.
I am biting.
Oh, sorry. This is smarter than that bullshit mouse guard.
I'm not biting into your. Oh, it's going out of print. You better get it now.
Okay.
I've been around the block.
Famous last words, Omar. Famous last words.
Whatever, man.
You're gonna be sorry, dude.
End of the year, I'm gonna be like, guys, I found these at like half off from a meth head.
No, it's for pretty soon. There'll be a post of Omar in the group. Oh, can anybody find me these out of print?
I swear, it's gonna be one of those private posts that I remove you and Jess from, so that you never see it.
But yeah, so this is great stuff. I know Jess is either doing or in the middle of or have finished a Irredeemable read through. So I might need to join in on that sooner or later because I love this book.
I finished I finished it and I did the video for it last night.
Is your video full of spoilers?
I tried to stay away from spoilers. I gave information, but I don't think I spoiled anything. I was trying to be really careful about that. Okay.
I may watch it and see. Cause yeah, I know you guys really hype it up, and like I said, I bought volume 1 and I was, waiting for a 4% off, so I don't know why I didn't pick them up. Oh, because InStock didn't have volumes 5 and 4, I think.
Because it's going out of print, Omar.
Oh, shut up, dude. I'm not listening to your bullshit.
All right, man. Yeah, so now Omar's going to have like incomplete hardcover collection. It's going to be like a lot of people's BPRD Plague of Frogs, where they have the first
have you met
hardcover.
Me? Have you met me? I have a problem. I will go out of my way to find those fucking books, even if I have to pay somebody an extra $5.
All right, man. I'm glad you're not biting into this or anything.
I'm not. Not happening. All
right. So moving on. I'm not done.
Holy shit! You guys like save all your money?
I got the 5th Beetle. Look at this.
Oh, nice. Is that the hardcover?
Yeah, I got the hardcover. This is great. It is basically the story of their manager, Brian Epstein, who was a closeted gay man, and all the hassles and hardships and world-changing events he had to deal with as a gay man in the late, early 60s, plus being the manager of the world's biggest band ever. So really cool stuff here.
I really like that ending. The ending of that is one of my
that book was really good.
Don't spoil
one of my favorite non-superhero endings to a book. I thought it was really good. It had a lot of heart too. I really liked the way it was written.
All right. So, and then recently, brand new stuff. I got Kyle Rayner, Volume 1.
That's right.
Yep. The awesome Ron Mars stuff. I love this. Kyle Rayner is my Green Lantern. He's my favorite Green Lantern. So
I agree with that. He was my.
I wish they would do hardcovers. This deserves a hardcover treatment, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm jumping on this while there's still some kind of material for Kyle out there.
You know, Daryl Banks' art too, like, wasn't shabby at all. It was good.
Nah, it's fun stuff. And same as Jess, I did pick up Gotham City Sirens. Great stuff here. I've only read the first couple of hardcovers when they were first coming out, so I'm glad to have the whole thing here. And for like $35 or whatever this was, like, I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah,
and I don't care. Some people had a problem with it being called Harley Quinn and the Sirens. I don't care. I'm more than happy with this. So
yeah, I don't mind that because the book needs attention, and if that helps get that book attention, then I say it's okay. I understand people think it's just a sellout thing on DC's part, but if it gets that book a few extra copies sold, I'm cool with it because that's a great book.
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. So same with like Deadpool and the X-Force. You know, it's basically X-Force Volume 2, but I have no problem with them slapping Deadpool's name on it to sell it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing I got was this awesome Tim Sale Superman print. This thing is incredible. I love the color. I love his Superman. It's like a big, bulky. He's not super muscular. It's more of like this pure bulk of a human being. I love this version of.
We like to call that farm strong.
Sure, yeah, corn-fed looking, Clark Kent kind of thing. Same way as like the way Frank Quietly draws him.
Did he bring that with him?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had a bunch of prints and stuff like that. So
that's really cool.
I dig that one a lot. And I think that's... Oh, wait, one more. This is my favorite thing so far right now that I got recently was... I don't know if I talked about this before, but this late 1970s trade paperback, one of Marvel's first graphic novels is this Silver Surfer book that came out from Fireside Publishing.
Yeah, those are the Fireside books. Those are really cool.
Yeah,
I've never seen that. That's really cool, man.
No, I love it. The art in here is great. It's Jack Kirby art.
Never been collected anywhere?
This is the first volume or the first print. It was reprinted. Some people corrected me on the group. It was reprinted, but it was like a super limited retailer exclusive where I think they made like 150 copies of like a hardcover reprint in like the early 90s, and that's really about it. I don't know if there's any kind of rights tied up with this or what, but this was a backdoor pilot or backdoor script for a movie that they wanted to do that was going to star Olivia Newton-John as the female character here.
Oh, Nova?
No, it's not Nova. It's a completely new character they made for this storyline.
Oh, it looked like
it does kind of look like Nova a bit. But this is basically the retelling of Silver Surfer's origin story and everything like that. Everything we know about Silver Surfer, but there's just no mention in the Fantastic Four. So the whole
Galactic, so it's kind of like
different.
Man Without Fear.
Yeah, exactly. But just iconic, beautiful Jack Kirby art. I love this Fist of Galactus page. It's awesome. Just iconic, beautiful artwork from Kirby. Considering Kirby didn't get to do the Silver Surfer ongoing series, that first volume that John Buscema did, it's great to see him do this stuff. And this is the last collaboration that Kirby did with Stan Lee before he left Marvel for good. So a little bit of a comic book history right here. This is awesome. And that's that, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for that long ass haul. But yeah,
we just did 40 minutes of haul.
Is it really 40 minutes, dude? Fuck.
You and Jess bought the whole goddamn in stock trades, man. Bought like 2 books. Well, I got more shit coming in from DCBS, but I also had the Gotham City Sirens. But I've had that pre-order for a while now.
Nice. Do you pre-order all your stuff through DCBS? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, and now I keep a list because I've gone through I pre-order and oh shit. I forgot about that. I've done that a couple of times.
I do that. That's why I don't pre-order stuff anymore.
Yeah, me either.
But honestly, the way that I pre-order stuff is like volumes that I don't think they will pick at 50% off, because if you go through DCBS, yes, you pay for shipping, but I get it once a month, so I think it's like $8 or something like that. But all their trades from DC and Marvel are always 50% off. So I pick volumes like 2 or 3 of something that I know won't get the 50% off treatment at in stock. Or I pick a book like Gotham City Sirens that I don't think I would buy it day one, but I don't want to forget about it. Anyway, that's just the way my brain.
Yeah, I used to pre-order a lot from DCBS. A lot. I used DCBS probably for like the last 12 to 13 years. I used DCBS until I really started like getting more into like in-stock trade side of things. I just like the idea of pre-ordering it and pre-paying for something.
Well, it's cool if you're getting comic books. So speaking of comic,
even for hardcovers, all my Annihilation, all my War of Kings, all that stuff I pre-ordered because I knew it stuff would probably end up going out of print really fast.
Yeah, I know.
So instead of having to spam the F5
God damn it,
button,
I'm trying to fucking segue to the Planetary talk.
so instead of like spamming F5 on Tuesdays, I just used to just order it and have it ready.
It's not like it's a Black Friday sale or a Nintendo Amiibo toy going on sale. I mean,
Amiibo toy.
these things stay on sale. Rarely do I see a book at in-stock sell out on the first day, and it's usually like the direct market version variant.
That's the stuff I would pre-order. Would be the DM covers.
Except for Irredeemable 4 and 5, those sold out.
Shut up! Yeah. No, they didn't. They've got a warehouse full of that shit somewhere.
Okay, all
right.
Omar.
All right. Planetary. What'd you guys think? Let's talk about Planetary. Segue.
Planetary, fabulous, unbelievable. I believe.
What kind of monster reads this book with the damn sleeve? Thank you, Gabe. I know there was another
it. I already read it. I put it back together.
Put it back together like it's Humpty Dumpty or something.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jess, start it off, man. What did you think? I'm sure you're going to say everything that everyone else is thinking. I think this is. I do have to say that in the previous books that we've all read, I have always been the guy that was like, "You guys suck. That book sucks." But I think this particular review is going to go a little bit different.
Yeah. If you don't like this, you suck.
The problem is that we talked about this a little bit ahead of time is you both like it. So there's really something wrong with me if I also like it because you guys suck. Anyway, go ahead.
Because we're all dumb hillbillies and we only read stupid comics.
I work with dumb hillbillies.
First of all, this book, I read it in absolute form. I read it in trade form, so I've read it a couple of times before, but of course my memory's so bad that reading it was like rereading it. Was like reading it for the first time. I should take the dust jacket off to show it off.
You should, because the cover for this book is beautiful.
Yeah,
that
really
jacket sucks compared to the inside cover.
The actual Planetary guide, that is so badass.
Yeah, that is true. This is really cool. The first thing I'll mention before I get into anything is I love all the callbacks in it or recognizing other characters. Like right here, it's not giving anything away because I won't say what context it is, but Elijah Snow and Jaquita, there's Death and Dream kind of sitting on a bench, and there's a funeral that they're attending, and you can see approximations of Swamp Thing and Animal Man in it.
Oh yeah, it's the entire Vertigo universe just about.
I mean, that's what's so cool about this book is it's so much of a deconstruction of comics that funeral scene is the death of happy-go-lucky fun comics, and then it turns into the 80s where everything became dark and gritty and scary.
You guys are diving deep into this. I was like, man, this guy's some pretty pictures, and the words are long and big.
Really? You didn't catch on with that big, bulky superhero guy? He's like, why did you got to kill me?
Yes, I get there's different layers, Gabe. God damn it. I get it.
You're the smart comic reader. Come on, Omar.
Doesn't mean Omar talked pretty.
And then I loved how the four that they had to deal with were based on kind of the Fantastic Four. They're the you can't really see them because they're so high in the sky. They have to deal with. They're the quote unquote bad guys in the book. I loved the snowflake theory. This was hard to wrap my mind around, that we're a 3D world based on a snowflake shaped multiverse 2D with billions of worlds. I don't know. It was clearly he and his physics are next level. His understanding of physics and the way he describes things is just incredible. And of course, I believe this is Cassidy doing the art, right?
Yeah, he does art for the whole thing.
Book. Yeah.
Yeah, and his art I really love, and I love the character of Elijah Snow and Drums and Chiquita Wagner. And each issue, I liked how each issue was self-contained, but also continued the narrative. It went places and did things that I thought were next level smart comics. I know we like to throw that term around as a joke, but I mean this really is the epitome of smart comics, in my humble opinion. It grabbed all things great about all comics, and I believe that Riley said it in one of our vids that it smushes them all together into one perfect little bundle. My only issue with the book is I really didn't care that much for the crossovers that it includes. I didn't think they were. I thought the Planetary JLA was kind of not really that great of an effort. I like the Planetary Authority crossover. It made me want to read Authority again.
Well, and they're almost out of like order too.
Yeah.
I wish they had included a lot more of the. I mean, this book would have been a lot bigger. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jess.
No, that's right. Go ahead and say what you were thinking. Go ahead. That's fine.
I think the ending was good enough, but I think part of the problem with the ending is that it suffered from all those crossovers. And it almost, not really, but because it was good enough, it almost felt anticlimactic in the way that the book ended. But you were absolutely right. Everything about this book. It is the epitome of what a comic book can do. And this is why it can only be done in this kind of medium, right? It's like a beautiful amalgam of all these things that we have liked over the years. Justice League, I mean, Bruce Banner, the guy that's like John Constantine in that Vertigo issue that you showed. I mean, Tarzan, Doc Savage.
Savage.
Oh yeah, Doc Savage, right?
Just all these comics that it's a throwback, and before you know, you're like, oh my god, this is just one comic book. And at first, it's kind of like tongue in cheek, but then when it all comes together at the end, when the revelation, as Elijah Snow, because there is this mystery at the beginning, like who he is, why he's got missing.
The fourth man is.
The fourth is, right? Like, yeah, why he's got missing, kind of like Wolverine, missing fragments of his brain, like his mind, his memories are gone. And then it slowly comes together, and by the time you get to it, you're like, oh, it's kind of your stereotypical superhero book, but no, it's so much more than that, especially the way that it portrays death and rebirth. And, it almost feels like you're reading all these comic books at the same time, almost like you're part of this multiverse that they talk about within the pages here. Gabe, I'll let you say some things.
Well, no, what's great about this book is, like we were saying, it deconstructs comic books altogether. Like,
absolutely.
Once you read this book, you get a different outlook, I think, on comics with the way Warren Ellis deconstructed the idea of the Fantastic Four, the way he deconstructed the idea of not just comics, but like monster movies and regular American cinema and the pulp characters and stuff like that. He even got into like the history of things like Tarzan and like the Lone Ranger and things like that, and how that stuff all ties into the overall narrative of this storyline and the characters behind it. No, that's what I loved about it. There's just so much you get to learn about comics while reading this comic book as well. So it's great for everybody to check out.
I did like the Batman crossover. That was really good. I will say that.
I think up until you get to like that part of the book, I don't want to say third act, because it literally is maybe like the third, almost towards the end of the book. Most of these issues are all standalone too. Yeah. It's one continuing story, and they're standalone in their own way. I mean, there's even like a Nick Fury, James Bond kind of story in there with the secret agent. Just all these things that you love about comic books. Now, I told you guys before we started the show, I got these as singles from a friend of mine when I got back into comic books. I read them, and what killed it for me was, holy shit, the amount of time in between issues towards the end, because I had gotten like the first 20 from him, and to get those final, I think 6 or 7 issues, dude, it was years, like 2 at least. Because
No, it's way more than that, dude. Yeah.
Cassidy had moved on to what was Captain America, I think he was working on at the time, and then he had moved on to X-Men. So reading it like this was the way it was meant to be read.
Yeah. No,
Definitely not
great.
in singles, because holy shit, I couldn't imagine like getting number 1 and waiting for these damn issues to come out.
This is my first time reading the entire series because of the same problem Omar had, where everything was pretty good. It was coming out on a fairly regular basis. You know, maybe every couple of months an issue would come out. But after like issue 20 came out, I'm looking it up right now, like September 2004. And issue 27, the last issue of the series, was the end of 2009. So we're talking about like it took 5-6 years to put out 7 issues of this book. And that during that whole wait, I think I just fell off of it and just couldn't keep up with it anymore. So one of my favorite issues I read today was one of the last ones that was the origin of Drummer and like who he was and how he was just kind of like a hive mind, computer genius.
Oh, let me find that panel. It's like whenever they're trying to save those kids.
Yeah, and Jaquetta goes and like breaks off the all the kids. There's like a line of kids, and they're all just like this hive mind of internet junkies, basically making the internet, and their heads are blown up one by one. And you see that Drummer is the last one. Jaquetta saves them.
Just love that shot.
Yeah,
like
man.
all these kids, like their heads had blown up, and then Drummer's the last one left. And the thing is, like, he knows all these things too, right? I love that confrontation he has with Elijah. He's like, oh yeah, what's her name's the son, the daughter of your first lover, and things like that.
Yep.
And I know you're not she doesn't know anything about her actual origin.
Well, like the whole idea of like, one of the villains was supposed to have been the son of like a famous superhero, but really the wife was unfaithful, and it's really somebody else's kid, and how he lost his bloodline and his rightful heir to being like a powerful superhero, and just so much stuff. Those last like 3 to 4 issues were just jam-packed action books all the way through. They were fantastic.
And you talk about the different range that like Cassidy has too. I mean, this is obviously a throwback to like Tarzan, right?
Yep.
And Doc Savage. But then I just found it here. Then you've got like this. Oh, where is it? Damn, the Nick Fury Steranko looking issue. I fucking love that issue.
And it's great because while you're going through this block of books that took like 10 years to put out, Cassidy art changes. Like he just learned so much doing these books.
Because towards the beginning,
he becomes who he is. And then nowadays, I don't dig his art anymore these days, but just seeing him.
Well, because he hardly draws anything anymore. Like he just does covers. But like towards the beginning, like he has more of a Doug Mahnke art style to him. And then towards the end is when he really has that, the astonishing X-Men art.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I really like is this sentient ship. Yeah, I mean the art here is fantastic, but I love the idea of this centuries-old sentient ship that's transforms the guy and
turns him into Shazam, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love the concept that it's just been waiting for a pilot to get it back home with no fuel and no crew, and the conspiracy to dig it up and blow things up to uncover it and everything. I mean, not even just that, but they talked about religion in such a way that's not offensive. Like you learn about angels and what heaven really, quote unquote, really is. And
I love that. I love the explanation of death. I love his explanation of like time travel. It reminds me of like 2001 stuff, like the book, right? Kind of creepy. Like I don't want to know that shit. Or Stephen Hawking's kind of shit. I'd rather be left, without knowing any of that. I'd rather live in the Matrix and know the reality of things.
Yeah, seriously, give me that blue pill, man.
Because it's kind of creepy when he starts talking about that shit.
And I just love how like this whole thing is just Elijah saving these people, saving Drummer as a kid, saving Jaquetta, saving damn it, I forgot the guy's name, but it's the guy that he saves at the the whole idea of this book or the storyline.
Oh, Ambrose.
Ambrose, right?
Yeah, saving him. I mean, yeah, this series is only 27 issues, but it took 10 plus years for it to come out. But when you read it like this, it feels like he had it basically mapped out from the very beginning. Like everything, everything connected, all the dots clearly touched one another. Clearly, everything seems mapped out, but it just took forever for it to come out. But this is definitely an achievement. It's hard. I love his Transmetropolitan. Like that's one of my favorite things of all time. But his fucking Planetary is just a solid foot achievement in comic books. I might be blowing that up too much, but
no, I don't think you
care. Would you say this is your favorite? Because mine is always going to be I think Transmetropolitan is my favorite Cornell stuff. Then probably Planetary and then Next Wave because I just love Next Wave.
Yeah, no, Next Wave's amazing. Yeah, dude. No, but I think this is a book that I can give somebody who wants to know about comic books, who kind of knew about it, and they will get it and they will learn from it. See, I don't think so much of Transmet, but I think Transmet's a different experience altogether too.
I think you get more of an enjoyment though if you had read comic books for a while. Like if you had been reading like if I had read this 20 years ago, with my vaguely knowledge of the DC universe, I would have been like, oh yeah, this was pretty cool and his ideas were nice. But reading it so much later in my life, I appreciate it so much more because he is literally tapping at everything. Like not even just comic books, but also like the big monster movies too. Like when he had that big island.
The grand storyteller man or the master storyteller guy.
Yeah, this was. I mean, you said you put it best, man. Yeah, this was amazing. I know there are people that don't like it. I know there are people that have a problem with Cassidy's artwork. I'm one of those people that actually love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's great and it works for superhero books. So now that it's over, I kind of miss it. I kind of miss the characters already. Kind of like when I finished, whenever I finish something great like Sandman or The Boys or Why the Last Man, it's like I miss these characters already because I just finished it today, just like you did. Like I want to know.
These never been used again, right? It's all basically just been in Planetary. I don't think I've seen them separate at all.
I mean, technically DC could use them because they are part of the Wildstorm universe, and that's another thing too. While it's part of the DC or the Wildstorm universe, there is mention of like Jenny Sparks and the Bleed. Those characters, right? But I mean, you really don't have to know much about the Wildstorm universe. That's about it. And then actually, Stormwatch does show up later in the Authority. Does show up later.
I'm trying to see if I can find the page. I don't know if I can because it's just that one page. But how they explain how Thor's hammer works and how it turns from like a walking stick and it's
the science behind that
universe that's nothing but different artillery and weapons.
And I love how each cover harkens back to a classic comic style. Like you've got a league of extraordinary gentlemen there. Then you've got, like I said, the Stranko looking cover.
Yeah, I mean they even touch on like Frankenstein and like old monster movies.
Oh yeah, Dracula shows up.
Yeah.
Sherlock
Holmes is great.
Like that was his mentor. And the best part about that is he was trying to get like my favorite, and I do remember this from reading it the first time. It was like, first thing we got to do is get rid of that rubbish accent because he hates the American accent. And then Elijah Snow was like, yeah, and it took me like 5 more years to finally get rid of it. Yeah, this was such a great book. I'm glad that you suggested reading this because sometimes my Omnis just sit in the shelf collecting dust, and because I'm like, I gotta read an omnibus. I have to pick this giant book up, and I have so many, just like we all do. When sometimes it's so much easier to pick up a oversized hardcover.
Yeah, I was excited to be able to read this again. This was here's a great cover that I love right there.
The psychedelic stuff.
Yeah, I really like this cover.
That's the one that freaked me. That was the issue that kind of freaked me out when he's talking about what is meant to be dead. When he talks about the confrontation with the afterlife, where your souls really go. I think it's great, man. All these issues could be turned into a movie. Not the entire series, but I'm just saying each issue could be a movie by itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Now, of course, he borrowed a lot of elements, right? I'm not saying he's a super genius that all these ideas just came to him, but it is still cool to see it put together, especially where you go from the beginning and then where you end up. I think it's an amazing ride.
It just seems like Warren Ellis took everything he loved, put it all on one plate, and just kind of just played with it and explained it and deconstructed it. Like, you know, like he loves Godzilla, I guess, or he loves old pulp films and old detective movies and comic books and superheroes, and just all this stuff is just laid out and broken down to its finest essence. Like everything is just broken down to the
that's
most
a good way of putting
bottom part of it all. Yeah.
See, it's like if I took everything I loved and put it all together, it would turn into like a Kevin Smith movie, and not even a good like originally Jersey trilogy movie, like a shitty Kevin Smith movie. So it's really cool that he respects all this stuff and was able to create something wonderful with it too.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I did find my Wizard #1.
Ooh.
And Matt Miranda in the chat, yeah, I still have the cat dog pop from our trailer. If you want to know the context behind the pop dog or the cat dog pop, check out our new trailer that Gio put out.
Did you ever find one, Jess?
Yeah, I did. Not too long after that, but that was a funny day when it was within my reach, and Gio got it or something, and I couldn't find it, and then Gabe just sat down at his barbecue with it without acknowledging it. That was just a hilarious day. Yeah, that was that cat dog pop was my life for like a week.
Ooh, so here's a good question to wrap up the Planetary talk. I still think Transmetropolitan is his probably the work that I enjoy the most that Warren Ellis did. Like I said, seconded by Planetary, and then Next Wave. Gabe, you said Planetary would be yours?
No, definitely Transmet still. I've always gone for Transmet.
Jess, you mentioned this before, and somebody just asked, would you say that Planetary is better than Global Frequency, or?
I would say my ranking goes Planetary first, Global Frequency second, and Transmet third.
Okay.
Have you read Next Wave, Jess?
I have not. I have it, but I haven't.
Oh, all right. Fuck. Omar, choose that as your pick for the next reading this.
I would if we had just not read an Warren Ellis book. I swear I would, because it's such a fun book, and it's a quick read, and it's got some of my favorite characters, and it's a book that cannot be taken seriously because it doesn't take itself seriously. It's so fun.
Michael Curry asks, is Global Frequency on the same level? Not quite on the same level, but I would say it's more accessible than a lot of the concepts in Planetary. It's a different concept, but the ideas are more accessible than some of the stuff in Planetary. So
it's similar. It's a similar structure to Planetary, where each issue is its own issue.
Yeah,
and you don't realize till later that I'm fucking following the storyline here. You tricked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we were just having fun, Warren Ellis. What the hell? And it's amazing the difference in between when Warren Ellis cares about a story than when he's just writing to get a check. When
he has a message, dude, watch out. When he has a message, watch out.
And when he actually plans to end something, when he doesn't lose interest, Astonishing X-Men, just an example of a book that he obviously didn't give two shits about.
The Ghost Box stuff, yeah.
I mean, it started off okay, and it ended just whatever.
But I love how the Fantastic Four are like the antagonists,
because it is like Reed Richards, like if he was.
Yeah.
And I think they took that idea and they kind of Bendis did that with not Ultimatum, but what was the final Ultimate
Doom.
crossover? Ultimate Doom. Okay, yeah. Made Reed Richards into a villain.
I love the idea that these guys went out into space as to hunt down the unknown, and they know how they're just basically a Galactus analogy, and how they going into the bleed change their body structure and their DNA, and they come back as villains. But at the same time, they think nobody here is a clear black and white villain. It's all people just they're doing what they think is right for the world.
And I think those make for that makes for a better story and better characters.
Exactly.
Whenever you think you're doing the right thing, that's why Magneto is one of the best villains of any comic
or even Killmonger in the Black Panther movie. That's why everybody loves him so much.
Right. Now, granted, he's a little different in the comics, but Magneto, true to the Chris Claremont stuff, he is one of those characters, man. It's awesome.
That's why Civil War was so good, because each side had a clear cut, understanding and thinking they were doing the right thing. So yeah, that's what I loved about it. Just seeing the Fantastic Four, just what they could be if they took their powers and their knowledge and Reed Richards' amazing brain and actually forced it on and forced change on the world, as opposed to how the Fantastic Four are now, where it's like, here's these great changes we can do. Please follow along with these ideas. And here's Planetary as the Fantastic Four going, we're changing the world whether you like it or not. We're going to make it happen. And then it's Elijah and his team trying to preserve what we got in the future as well. So it's just such a great idea with the different semantics and belief structures.
Yeah.
And just the way they kill the Thing character is awesome. It's such a cool story.
And I will say that it's great to have it in omnibus form, because that wait between issues is something that's sort of happening now with, I think, like Injection and Trees that he's doing. It feels, Trees isn't complete, I don't think, and I don't think Injection is either. And it's been a long time between issues, and that drives me nuts about it. And that's why I like this omnibus, that it's finally whole and all together, and everything in it is great. And that's the only thing that drives me nuts about Warren Ellis, is how long it takes him to do everything. And you're right, it seems like he loses interest, and I don't want him to lose interest in Injection and Trees, because I want to know what's going on in them.
And it could be because he's got other ideas. I guess it just happens. But I've just gotten to the point where I don't really pay attention to books like that unless it's already collected somewhere, like in hardcover or hell, what was the book was it Fell that he was working on?
Yeah, I love Fell, man.
Yeah, I did too. And did he ever wrap it up?
No, I think at one point a long time ago, around the turn of the century. That makes it sound really old.
No, it was kind of old. It was like 2005, 2006 when it was coming out.
He had all these stories kind of mapped out on his computer. He had all these great upcoming stories. There was one I was really interested in. I wanted to see him go through with it. Was a story about a cop and a soldier on two different sides of the world finding the four horsemen of the apocalypse and how that changes things.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other storylines that he had going on at the time was all mapped out on his computer and all this stuff. And he took his computer, it broke down. He took it to a computer shop out there in England to get it fixed. And he went back a couple weeks later, and the computer store was gone, and everything inside of it was gone. So that's all that story he lost, and he just decided just not to go back and try to retread it again.
Oh,
so
my God. That's awful. That's why you always need to back up.
That's right. But that was before there was like the cloud and stuff like that, I think.
So that's the guy that spilled Coke on his Mac. So.
That's right. I had everything backed up though, and now it's on this laptop.
So yes, I think we can 100% agree that Warren Ellis's and John Cassidy's Planetary is a must-read.
Yeah, this is a required buy. You have to have this in your collection, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you are an older comic book reader, not older, but have been reading comic books. I think you will appreciate it a lot more if you have just read comics for over 10 years, and just kind of read a little bit of everything. I think it's wonderful.
If I had a college course I was teaching about comic books, I think this would be a part of the syllabus just for the deconstruction and breakdown of all these different archetypes in comics and literary history and stuff.
Wow. I would showcase Avengers: The Crossing and
lose all credibility. Okay.
You know, I really want, like, I really want to make that my reading assignment to you guys, because I'm curious to know, especially Gabe, since he's such a fan of the 90s, because I feel like Avengers: The Crossing gets hate for the same reason that Rob Liefeld gets hate, and that's because most people just
Jealousy.
It's not even jealousy. It's just like it's just the cool thing to do. Nobody's jealous of Rob Liefeld. You know, the cool thing is to bust on Rob Liefeld's Captain America or his No Feet or whatever, right? But like, and then people that have not read Avengers: The Crossing are like, oh yeah, that's like the worst Avengers story ever. And I want to know what you guys really think, because I've read a lot worse Avengers stories than that. But I'm not gonna do that to you guys, because
I'm down, dude. Don't
yeah, but that would require you to buy like a $30, I mean, even if it's on sale, like a $30 Omni that you don't want on your shelf if you hate it. So I will think on
$30 Avengers Crossing.
Yeah, because everybody has it like liquidated. I'm surprised it's not at Ollie's.
Because $30, dude, I'll buy that motherfucker right now.
I don't like where this is headed.
Jess. I can just picture Jess going off. Why the fuck did you guys make me spend $50 buying a bit just to cross? This is the worst. Like, and as he's pouring root beer on it.
Well, I'll do whatever you guys want to do.
I would like us, because the last couple, like, online, it's like Omar said earlier, it's been stuff that Omar has hated because Omar hates fun.
Don't like fun.
I would like us to do a book that could cross the line into us reading something that was shit, you know? Even the books that we get, you know, like we did Sheriff of Babylon and Spider-Man Deadpool. We've been picking what I would say is basically safe comic books for us.
A safe bet.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But then because you're also dealing with money, like, do you really want to spend your money doing it? I guess you could go the comicsology route and get it that way, and then also time. Like, I'm that way with movies and video games. The older I get, the more I'm like, I don't want to waste my fucking time watching a 2-hour shitty movie. Now, before, like, I was in my 20s and 30s, I'd be like, hell yeah, man, I'm gonna fucking finish this out. Let's ride it out. Let's see how bad Space Truckers can be.
Let's marathon Toxic Avenger movies 1, 2,
sure.
3, and 4.
Like, I mean, with movies like Sharknado, you kind of know what you're in for. But there are movies that I'm watching 10 minutes of this and fuck that. I'm not going to waste my life doing this.
Well, Taylor Brown brings up a good point that we did review Identity Crisis, which none of us liked.
I liked it.
No, you guys liked it.
I didn't like it. I liked it the first time I read it. Then I reread it and didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Thought you would both liked it. No, I did not.
I liked the idea. I liked the concept, but I didn't like how out of character everybody. You know, what the issue was the out of character characters. But
yeah, because the hard thing about doing things like this is we all want everybody to read the books that we enjoy, right? Like, we're like, oh, that's got to be a great read. Now it's hard for me to try to find something that I'm like, okay, maybe this is one that some people hate, some people like. So you can't talk about Sandman because not everybody, but most people really enjoy Sandman. Or a Brian K. Vaughan book, it would be a safe bet, because I think all three of us would jerk off Brian K. Vaughan just to get him to sign.
Whoa. Let's not go throwing everybody in.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm putting words in your mouth, Jess.
Yeah, I ain't jacking anybody.
Not only that, but you're putting wieners in my hand.
Whoa.
Wow, okay. This show got dark.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Oh yeah, and some of us did disagree about the Black Panther books that we reviewed. That's right.
Yeah, so it hasn't been a slam dunk every time.
Yeah.
This is our first week.
This is the first time that we were like, yeah, this book is great.
I think also that's kind of how we are on the show. We're not here to destroy books and, you know, bring up, you know, negative comics or negative, you know, comments on things. We're here to celebrate comics. We're not here to shit on creators and stuff like that too. So, right. I'm willing, dude. There's one on eBay right now for $30 plus $8 shipping for Crossing. So
Crossing. Well, let me think about it, and then I will shoot it to you guys. It has to be in agreement though, because I can't make you buy it and then just be like, I'm not gonna buy that.
No, if you guys want to review it, I will read it and tell you my thoughts. That's fine with me. If it's not like $100 out of print book or something, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm never gonna make.
We're not asking anybody to buy like Annihilation or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine with me. Whatever book you pick, I will read and we'll deconstruct it.
Okay, all right.
We'll do it. I mean, if you want it to be that, that's fine with me.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. This is I like talking about these things. These are the kind of things that I would talk about at a comic book shop. So, some of the highlights that are coming out this Wednesday, right? Or tomorrow, like Absolute
wait,
Volume 3 will be 50% off.
Real quick.
I just wanted to touch up on the highlights, the ones that are going to be big. Carnage will be 50% off. And if you bought anything for 4% off last week, you have that loyalty discount, 2%. I know it's not 4, but hey, every little bit helps when you're paying. Because how much is Carnage? $125?
Yeah.
Gabe?
Yeah, it's $125.
So it'd be $62.50, correct?
62 something exactly. Yeah,
it'd be $60 with the 2%.
Oh man, Taylor Brown, you should do a book review of the new 52 Red Hood and the Outlaws Omnibus and include Luis.
Well, see that's the thing that I kind of want to stay away from, is we know we're all just going to shit on that probably.
Yeah,
but whatever, you know.
I mean,
I just don't like being that. I don't want us to be that show that purposely picks something to shit on it.
Yeah,
if we pick it because we never heard of it before, or we want to try it for the first time and we end up not liking it, that's one thing, because we're pretty good about just being more creative with our word choices on something we disagree that we like. But I know something like that, we're just going to probably just end up just shitting on the shit on it.
Yeah.
What if like I end up loving it though? I'm like, man, Scott Lobdell was right.
So you already have a negative
I've only read like the verse 2. Yeah, I was one of those guys that didn't like his X-Men run. Everybody talked about how amazing and sad Uncanny X-Men 303 was, and I'm like, it was okay. I didn't.
Was that the death of Colossus's brother? Is that 303?
No, it's the death of Ileana.
Spoilers.
Magic. Hey, spoiler! She comes back because she's one of Jess's favorite characters now.
So so Absolute Preacher is 50% off. It makes that $75. Carnage is also 50% off from $120 to $250. Flash Rebirth Volume 2 is 42% off. It makes that a little more than $20. So a lot of good stuff coming out this week. But there's a lot of good stuff. It's going to be pick and choose a little bit. I don't know if I can do Preacher and Carnage, but
those are,
because I never read all the Preacher before, and I would love to have that third Absolutes. Annihilation Volume 2 Complete Collection is coming out also.
Is that 50% off?
It's 42% off, so it's a little more than $20, which is still a great deal. And then if you have that 2% loyalty discount, then you're good to go too.
All right, cool. Thanks for hitting those up, man. So you guys want to take it to the chat for just a little bit, get some questions?
Yeah, you want to answer questions for a few minutes?
Sure, man. Yeah. Let's do that. We talked at the hell out of Planetary. That was a great book.
Michael Curry, what? Next week. What's happening next week? Is that when we get both those Wolverines and the Punisher book that are coming out?
Is that next week? Shit.
Mm-hmm. Which is another reason why I pre-ordered too, so I can space out some of these things, so I don't feel guilty about spending $200 a week. Because I think Weapon X, Return to Weapon X, Wolverine Goes to Hell, and something else comes out next week.
I think the Punisher.
The Punisher, yeah. Good Lord, Marvel, come on.
What Punisher is coming out next week?
Fuck, man. We're good. Like, space those out. Jed.
Dude, it's feast or famine, man. It's all or nothing these days with this shit.
These books are all going to go out of print, too. That's all we need Gabe to say.
It'd be true.
And then Nightfall Volume 3 comes out, ending the Nightfall saga. Maybe we should review Nightfall.
I refuse.
Did you ever read it?
Yeah, I read it when it was coming out in singles back in the 90s.
What did you think?
I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, I hated everything about it. But I don't. That was just me, and I don't. I want to make sure people don't think I'm just trying to be a jerk, because I understand people's nostalgia for it, and they look back fondly on that, like I look back fondly on those silly Silver Age stories that I like. That's the nostalgia for that storyline. That's why I try not to bust on it, because it's a part of everybody's, not everybody's, but an awful lot of our audience's childhood. Nightfall is, but it just did not bring my chimes at all.
I don't think anybody would ever say you were, a hater or an asshole, Jess.
Well, I try not to be.
Dude, next week is also the 0 Hour hardcover. And Kyle Rayner Volume 2.
Shit. Okay, I think I've got both of those books pre-ordered. I'm almost done. Taylor Brown says, I'm almost done with Revival. Would love to see a review of that series on this channel. That's the one that crossed over with Chew, right? That's the only thing I know about that book.
Yeah, it's about a town where whenever people die, like, I don't know, maybe
they come back.
They come back, they reanimate. I finished that back in January. I love that series.
Did you? I was like 5 seconds too late. Somebody was selling it in the Facebook group, and I was like, hey, I'm interested. And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I promised it to somebody. And I was like, well, as long as it's not Jess, I'm okay with that.
I could do a review of Revival. I still remember bits and pieces of it. I can flip through it. I remember really liking it. I need to continue my Image hardcover read through, because there's still plenty of oversized hardcovers from Image that I haven't got to.
Do you have to do all 5 volumes or what? Because
is there 4 or 5?
4.
Something like that. Yeah, okay.
4 isn't bad.
I had the first one. I had the first volume.
I don't have any. I was waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting to get them all.
It's going out of print, Omar. You need to buy it now. Buy it now.
You can go to hell. Let me see.
You know what? How come there's not a Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X like hardcover out yet? Come on.
What's that? A Barry Windsor Smith?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the releases for next week, and it said Weapon X, and I was like, oh, that's not that Weapon X.
Well, they already have a hardcover, and they have a trade paperback, and it's collected in the Wolverine Omnibus, and it's collected.
Oh, you mean the super out of print one? Yeah, great.
Yeah, and it's collected in the Wolverine Adamantium collection.
Yeah, great.
I mean,
it's a $100 book.
Well, dude, it's not my fault that you missed out on that. You're the one that's screaming it's going out of print. Why didn't you get those?
I'm sorry.
I don't recall hating the ending of Revival. I'll have to go back and check that out. Chris M is saying he didn't dig the ending, so I'll have to go back and reread that.
I think I remember you saying it was kind of what is it? It was padded out a little bit. Started slowing down towards the end.
I do remember that. I remember it could have been cut. It probably could have been 3 books and been fine. They could have. Yeah, I do remember that.
Thoughts on Avatar Dark Horse books? Do you guys read those? I have not read those.
I haven't even.
From the cartoon Avatar?
I don't know if it's The Last Airbender or James Cameron Avatar.
I think you must be talking about the Last Airbender. I've seen maybe 3 episodes of Avatar, so I have no idea.
What? That's a great show.
Sure.
Watch it with your kids. Seriously, man. It's like American anime. It's solid.
I know. I hear it's great, and but what is it like 4 or 5 seasons plus
4
Korra?
seasons
Plus Korra?
4 seasons. But Korra's it's a follow-up to it. That's something I haven't finished yet.
Did Jess's Absolute Planetary get destroyed? Why buy the Omnibus? That is a good question. It did not get destroyed, but the Absolutes do not contain the crossovers. There was a damaged copy of Planetary on sale for like $25 on IST. And here is the damage. You can see it.
Oh, unacceptable.
If you can see it, it's slightly there. There's the damage right there.
I can see how it's kind of bent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit bent. So for $25, I bought this and sold the Planetary absolutes to a member in the group.
That was my first transaction on the group. Was I traded my absolutes, my Planetary absolutes, for the Omnibus and the New Frontier absolute.
Oh, that's a good trade.
Yeah, and that was like right before. I think a couple days after I made that transaction is when Darwin Cook died. So yeah.
Oh man.
I still haven't read Frontier yet. New Frontier.
Oh, that's a great book.
Oh my gosh, such a good book, and that's a great movie too.
That's a love letter to like all the classic, the stuff that you like, Jess. Well, and some Golden Age stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff just bought off the Spinner Racks as a kid.
Totally true.
Did you get that Spinner Rack Kickstarter, Jess, or no?
I already have a spinner rack that my wife got me for my birthday about 10 years ago. It's a vintage one she got off of eBay, I think. But I would totally be all over that Kickstarter spinner rack thing. Those are really, really nice. But no, my wife got me one quite a while ago.
Yeah, I jumped on that Kickstarter immediately. So
yeah, I think you're going to be really happy with that.
You guys are crazy. That can't hold an omnibus.
I put all my fun Silver Age singles in it.
Yeah. It'll hold trades. It'll hold trades, and
yeah,
maybe
Gabe's is going to be oversized, so he can put oversized hardcovers in it.
I got some fun like comics to put in there too. I still got, I don't know, maybe like 10 boxes worth of comics. So I could put like fun stuff up there, like some June 2099 Silver Surfer stuff.
Oh yeah, it's fun to have a spinner rack. You can put all kinds of things in there.
Maybe, I don't know if it's big enough to hold CDC, but that'd be cool. But either way, it's something fun to have. And again, I've looked on eBay, I've looked on Craigslist. I can never find those things for less than like
you need to live in
$400
Kentucky.
plus $400 shipping.
Market.
No, I've never seen one anywhere.
Go to one of these gun shows here in Kentucky when they have a flea market right next to it. There's been a rack
And a gun show.
Yeah.
I think the gun shows are different in Kentucky than they are in Civilization.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's Civilization. There's a really good question here from, who was it? Bobby Harrow. He's asking, who are your absolute favorite writer? Who do you guys follow?
Well, I'm Warren Ellis for one.
Yeah, totally. I'm in the same boat.
Warren Ellis is one of your favorites. Okay. I would say Chris Claremont, Marv Wolfman, Jeff Johns, James Roberts. He's the guy that's working on the Transformers books, and I don't think he gets enough praise. He is an amazing writer. Peter David.
Yeah, Peter David for sure.
I love Jason Aaron.
Jeff Lemire. Look at my collection real quick.
Rick Remender.
Yeah, Remender.
Hickman.
Hickman is good. Terry Moore.
Mark Waid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good one. Don Rosa.
Greg Rucka. Ed Brubaker.
Oh, damn you! You're taking the good ones. I would say Brian Azzarello, but like I said, Broken City is one of the worst Batman comics I've ever read, and I was not a big fan of his Superman run with Jim Lee. What was that called?
For Tomorrow.
For Tomorrow. Yeah.
For Tomorrow. Yeah, wasn't a big fan of that.
Mignola.
Dan Slott.
Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh yeah.
Dibs. I like that we're calling dibs.
Kurt Busiek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good one. Roger
Very
Stern.
nice.
Roger Stern. Yeah, good choice with Busiek. Damn it! I want Busiek.
I got Paul Dini's good.
Yeah, Paul Dini is solid. Oh, God, I want to say James Robinson.
Bendis.
Whatever.
Bendis.
Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman.
I want to say
Everybody
James
loves Alan
Robinson. I want to say James Robinson, but he's written some really bad comics. But his Starman is just the epitome of a good comic book.
Yeah. Grant Morrison, with the exception of some of his really out there books that require a dictionary to read.
Yeah, I look Grant Morrison just for Joe the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. The kid with diabetes, right?
Yeah,
Diabetes.
Yeah.
diabetes.
I think you guys have covered them all just about. Oh,
Yeah.
Mike, did you guys say Mike Mignola? Somebody
Jim
say that?
Starlin.
Mignola. Yeah.
Jim Starlin.
Starlin, yeah, Starlin's solid. He's hit and miss sometimes. I would say Miller, but
Mark or
Frank
Frank?
Miller or Mark Miller?
fuck you, Frank.
Garth Ennis?
Frank Miller's hit and miss, bro. Like, there's some
That's what I
wacky
was gonna
stuff,
say.
man.
I would say Frank Miller, but he's hit and miss. So is Garth Ennis, honestly.
Oh gosh, I love everything Garth Ennis writes. Even
Really?
as twisted and depraved as The Boys is, I really loved it.
I think my problem with Garth Ennis is that sometimes he's very formulaic, and sometimes he just sticks to that pony, and I just maybe I need to take a break from Ennis.
With me, a lot of times, Ennis to me, it seems like he's trying too hard to be like offensive or out there.
And you know what's funny is Grant Morrison doing an Ennis book. You guys have read Happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they made a TV miniseries out of that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if Garth Ennis is like that motherfucker. I'm Garth Ennis.
Taylor Brown with a couple of really good questions.
Tom King, let me throw that out
Tom
there.
King, yeah.
Wait, what's the question?
Taylor Brown says, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about being comic collectors?
Money. I don't have money to buy a 1967 Mustang Cobra. That's the least favorite thing.
Yeah, I do have a lot of money tied up in these books.
Yeah.
But that's the favorite thing is it scratches that collector's itch, just being able to either find an old book that I've been looking for or get a new book that I'm really looking forward to reading.
No, I just love just having access to so many stories. Like,
yeah.
Here, at arm's reach, being able to be just like reading in general, just being able to be transported to like a new world with new ideas. Like with Planetary. What I hate about it, the mob mentality of the community sometimes in general.
Good point.
What I like about this, and I'm going to be kind of sentimental about it, is the people that I have met through this hobby of mine for the last 30 plus years of my life. Some of my bestest friends I've met through my comic book hobbies. Some of them are gone now. Some of my earliest people that got me hooked on really good comics. I was thinking about that the other day. Like somebody, it was Sherlock had posted a picture of like one of the best Superman panels for celebrating Action Comics.
Oh, yeah.
80 years, and it reminded me of my friend Dave. That was like his favorite Superman story, or the one where he's dying and he was kind of being a dick, and he wrote a sign on the moon that was like, if you do a good deed every day, everybody can be a Superman. Like, but yeah, I have met so many good people through this hobby, and I have gone to different worlds because of this hobby. Worlds I don't think I could have gone in any other kind of medium. So that's what I love about collecting this stuff.
Well, I'm going to Stripper World in Vegas in November. That's where this hobby's taking me.
Hell yeah. There'll be strippers and In-N-Out burgers.
Strippers at the In-N-Out Burgers serving me food.
We can probably bring In-N-Out to the strip club.
Oh my God. Heaven on earth. And then he has another good question. What has surprised you about having your comic book channels and being an OmniBro? I can answer that. What surprised me about it is that people actually care about my opinion. People actually care about my opinion, and so I take it really seriously because I actually never thought anybody cared about my opinion before. And
that
now,
surprises me too that people care about Jess's opinion. No, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
no, it's totally true. That's funny. Yeah, it does surprise me. And so because of it, and on the Facebook group, I take it really seriously when somebody wants to read a book because I've recommended it. I mean, I put it in at least an entire weekend of thought into my Irredeemable video that I did yesterday. And I mean, I took copious notes. I did 4 or 5 takes on that one before I got a version I was happy with. So I take it really seriously, and that's what surprised me the most is that that people want recommendations from me.
No, I agree.
What surprised me the most is how nice some people are.
Hmm.
To take, every one of you guys that has written an email to my channel or to here and left nice notes, like it means the world to me because much like Jess, it surprises me that people would even take the time to listen to me. I don't know. I don't find myself that entertaining.
Oh, I find you wildly entertaining.
Well, thank you, sir. But yeah, I just it's really, I don't come across, but I am very humbled by that. I think it's wonderful.
Well, I know I'm entertaining, and I know my opinion matters. But what I was really surprised about is just how much the channel has taken off. Like with the sponsorship, with all the different fans, with people coming to us for wanting to do interviews, things like that. Just how it's really. It used to be us going to people, and now it's people coming to us. It's that kind of stuff that's really cool.
That's
Two
awesome.
Good questions, man.
Yeah. Here's a comment from Michael Curry. Jess has spent at least $600 of my money for me. Omar is at about $350. So you got some catching up to do, Omar.
I guess I do. No, or I need to just suggest some more expensive books instead of cheaper stuff on the end.
Yeah.
Start suggesting some absolutes and omnis, must buys.
Yeah, you'll blow right by me.
Yeah, it's the hard part of doing that of this show too. Is like the last thing I want is somebody, because at the end of the day, it's still just our opinions, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much we feel about a certain book, somebody from the chat right now could be like, "Man, that Planetary book sucks dick. I don't want that thing." And I would feel guilty that I had something to do with that. I don't want anybody to blow their money on something they don't end up liking. For the same reason, I hate suggesting TV shows to people, because I'm not asking them to spend an hour and a half of their lives watching a movie. I'm asking them to spend almost 20 hours of their life watching a TV show, because I'm like, no, it gets better after episode 20.
Or even just people spending all the money to get the Infinity Gauntlet box set or the Akira box set, or things like that comes.
Well, they kind of know what
they're
in for when they see your photos and they watch the videos of what you get. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting there.
Thoughts on Joy Division? I think Joy Division were the Beatles of the alternative movement, of the underground rock scene, the alternative rock scene. I think they were pioneers, groundbreakers, incredibly gifted. I loved Joy Division. I wish I had had a chance to see them live. They were fantastic. New Order, not so much.
Oh, not a comic book. Got it.
Yeah, Joy Division's music.
Okay. This is a good question. Have you guys ever wanted to create your own comics? Hell, fucking yes.
Yeah, I think everybody who's ever read comics has wanted to make comics.
One of my ideas was to have a Forge miniseries where the dude just is you guys know who Forge is?
Yeah.
First of all, Jess, do you know who Forge is? His mutant ability is he can make anything. He's a character from X-Men. He dated Storm for a long time. Anyway, he's got Native American background. He's actually a really awesome, complex character. My idea was to just get him trapped in each issue, and then he can kind of MacGyver his way out of it just by picking up just silly shit like a mop and like dirt and making a machine gun to get out of a place and things like that. It was kind of my silly idea I had when I was young. What about you guys? What kind of ideas did you all have?
I used to draw a lot of my own comics when I was younger.
Did it have a lot of boobs?
No. I tried to. I was really influenced by the Golden Age stuff. It was right when DC was putting out 25-cent books, and they padded it all with Golden Age material back in the 70s, and so mine were modeled after Golden Age characters. So I just drew a bunch of comics that were rip-offs of Golden Age characters, and they were just, looking back on it now, it was just typical 12-year-old thinking. I mean, I don't know how Jim Shooter became an editor at 15 or whatever it was at Marvel. When I was 15, I could not construct a proper sentence the way he could write an incredible book. So mine were really dumb. The art was fine, but the thoughts were dumb.
Do you still draw?
Yeah,
I do.
Do you? Oh man, we should share some art. I still do it every once in a while. I used to do the thumbnails for my channel.
Oh, really?
But it's just time consuming, and when it's so much easier just to put like words on a picture of somebody. So I'm like, we'll just do that, and that seems to be what gets hits anyway, or gets more hits. But anyway, yeah, man, you should show me some of that stuff that you got.
Okay, I'll have to look on my phone. I have pictures of everything. I'll show you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. What about you, Gabe?
I used to draw a lot too. I used to consider myself pretty good, but just kind of fell off of it with life, as I didn't have money to go to school for it or anything like that. But no, I always made little funny, silly comics. I made a comic book when I was in like high school called Cheap Shot. I used to do for English class, where this guy was a escapee from a mental hospital, and he would kick people in the nuts all the time. Because again, I was 15 years old, and I thought kicking people in the nuts was funny.
Hey! At our age, it's still funny.
yeah, seriously.
Oh, Jackass
like
is my favorite shows. I love Jackass. Johnny Knoxville getting kicked in the nards every other minute.
Yeah, but that's where it came from. It was actually from not Suicide Squad, Monster Squad, and the whole like Wolfman has nards.
Wolfman's got nards. I love.
Yeah, that's where that came from. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll post up some pictures in our chat. Some of the drawings I still have lying around and stuff like that. But,
the last thing I took seriously to draw was I did like a unicorn book for my daughter before she was born. That was the last time I actually did something serious. Like I took time, because remember when you had time and you drew listening to music and get high. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't have to get high. Just listen and whatever.
Before kids. Yeah. The last was before my first son at the nursery, and I painted it to look like Andy's room from Toy Story. So I had like a cloud.
Oh yeah, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think first print omnibus will be sought after once these reprints become common?
Nope.
No.
The moment those things are solicited second prints, those first prints die.
Yeah.
They die slow, painful death.
I saw the first printing of the Fantastic Four omnibus. Do y'all remember that spine?
I think
the original one, I just said omnibus on it.
Yeah, it didn't. It's not like your standard Marvel omnibus spine.
Yeah,
I saw one maybe about a year ago at a Comic-Con for like $25. That thing was going for a shit ton of money when it was the only printing.
Well, I mean, the McFarlane one just got announced. The second print. So
now, what's it called? The black costume variant still holds its price though.
Right. That does.
Because it was a direct market, and the variant, and they're not, when they re-release these books, they don't re-release them with the variant covers.
Tomb of Dracula, that's dying a slow, painful death on the vine. Stuff like that. I mean, I wish they would do more second prints of things, especially like the Silver Age Marvel stuff, like Thor and Hulk and X-Men Volume 1s. I wish they would reprint those, but first prints don't matter anymore. It's not like single issues where first prints do matter. Collected editions, not whatsoever.
Oh, here's another one we should warn him about. Connor asked, thoughts on the 2014 Suicide Squad run? On the fence about buying it.
Is that what's his name? Deering. Who wrote that?
I don't know, but that was a new 52 Suicide Squad run.
Yeah,
So
I did not like that.
fall backwards off the fence towards the side of saving your money and not buying it. Connor.
Save your money and buy the classic Ostrander Suicide Squad.
Much better idea. Even though Harley's in it, even I admit that it's not that great.
With Gail Simone's Secret Six.
Yeah.
Those books are so much better. Yeah, I had the first volume and I got rid of it. I'm like,
buy Nightfall instead. I'm teasing.
Jess, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
I say yes.
Does that guy live in Vegas? Because I swear, every time I go to Vegas, like I always bump into him at a casino. Because he's always doing events down there, isn't he?
Oh,
Gabe.
signings.
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
don't follow sports people. I don't follow sports whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's Pete Rose, man. Everybody knew that whole thing.
Right. But I don't follow him follow it as in the fact that I know where people live. Psycho.
I'm saying I bumped into him. You would know what he looked like if you bumped into him.
I wouldn't.
Whatever.
You could have a Pete Rose like jersey on Rose.
Is there any? Oh, Nick, of course, trying to stir
But
the
I don't
pot.
think.
Go ahead.
But I don't think a man should be kicked out related to his sport. Like, homeboy that had like the highest score on King Kong or Donkey Kong, find out he was a big fat fucking cheater. Sure, take him out of like the Hall of Fame. But Pete Rose betting on games, no, I don't think he should be taken out of the Hall of Fame for that.
Nick Munoz trying to stir the pot. Is there any secret OmniBros beef we should know about?
We're all secretly envious of Jess. Gio's
secret
nice
beef
guy.
would be carne asada. I find it cheap at the Mexican markets.
We had a
my secret
really.
beef.
I remember one drunken night. I think most of us were drunk except for Jess and Gio, and we were talking about what kind of seasoning we put on our burgers and
Oh yeah.
when we're grilling and stuff like that. It was like a Friday night. I was working out of town and everybody was drinking.
That was like when I discovered adobo.
I love when white people discover things that have already existed, by the way.
Yeah, I had no idea about it.
Well, that's the stuff. I didn't even know I had adobo. I didn't know what that was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, me and Gio were like showing you guys pictures and Louise got him in. I'm like, shit, you got to put adobo and all that shit. Any more questions?
That sounds
Killer Be Killed wrapping up. When do you think we'll get Since Killer Be Killed is wrapping up, when do you think we'll get a hardcover? Also, what kind of book would you like Brubaker and Phillips to tackle next?
Whatever it is, I'm picking it up. And they haven't announced a hardcover yet. And I'm sure it'll be early next year when it comes out.
Yeah, what are we in? End of April almost? And Killer Be Killed's wrapping up. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the beginning of next year we would see that.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, Jess. This is from Michael Curry. What happened to that dude on the older videos with the goatee? I don't know who that is.
I think you might be talking about Luis.
Oh, Luis with the goatee? He's on the Wednesday show.
Yeah, and he joins us on Thursdays.
Yeah.
He's still around.
He just looks different because he shaved it.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about Gio at first, but
maybe Gio?
Gio will be back in May, he said, sometime.
That's good.
Hopefully.
That's next month.
Yeah, that's what he's hoping to come back.
Another guy, Matt? No, it's really just been the five of us. Unless you're thinking about Riley, because Riley's only showing up half a show a week.
Didn't you guys? But no, you guys would always have some kind of. Oh, not always, but sometimes would have guests on.
Yeah, Matt Miranda was on
Matt
one
Miranda.
time. Matt and Nick were both on for a video game show. We had like 7 people on that night. But that was only one time.
Maybe he happened to watch.
Yeah, because for the longest time, it started out Riley Louise. Around like the third episode when Jess got brought in.
How did you get brought in?
Then
Jess?
it was
Riley and Luis did 2 shows, and people said, by popular demand, I will say, people said, hey, why don't you interview OmniDog? And it worked out so well that they just asked me to be part of the show.
Oh, that's cool.
They just wanted to hear from me, I guess. Again, shocked that people wanted to hear from me, but they did.
And now you are the staple, man, of OmniBros. You are on every episode.
Now you can't get rid of me.
Like every alert I get, I'm like, oh god damn it, it's got to have Jess as a thumbnail. I'm sure. Oh, yep, it's Jess. Oh, I think it's great, man. I love it. People love hearing from you. You are a genuinely nice dude.
Sam asked me to interview Gem Mint Collectibles. The only reason I don't is because he's already got a huge following of his own, and he's got his own channel going. I don't. I mean, his opinion is really already out there. He's got a lot of followers, and I tend to interview people that don't have channels to get their view out there. And it's nothing against Gem Mint. I mean, he does what he does really well. But I tend to interview people that don't have an outlet or a channel, or, haven't been heard from. I was subscribed to Riley and Luis before the Facebook group started. Yeah, I was. Same with me. I subscribed to Riley and Luis also before the group started.
And did we all join at the same time? No, I was the last one to join.
And when was that? Do you remember?
Let me see. Gabe asked me on sometime last year. We did a little thing with Matt. It was just like a Sunday thing, and then you hit me up. I want to say it was like before October, because you said, I think because you guys were taking a break at the time. And what was awesome was it felt right around the time my channel was taking a break. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it because I'm not doing anything now. So it was really nice. Yeah, you reached out to me. Gabe reached out to me to do, I can't remember how we started talking, but I was the last one to join. Because Luis and Gio, Gio was taking a break because he couldn't help it. Luis was taking a break, and Gabe,
that's right.
Gabe really, I remember Gabe being the one in the chat that was really like, we need to get this show, we need to keep going, because if we stop going now, people are going to lose interest and things like that. So I remember he was the one that kind of got people together. So he reached out to me, and then you hit me up. And then, that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Then I'm here.
The way I remember it was me, you, Matt, and Nick. I was trying to get another show going on the weekends.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, is that the the West Coast or Great Lakes OmniBros or whatever?
I dubbed this.
Right. That's what
Great
that's going to be.
Lakes
Yeah. And then that was also about the time where the whole thing happened with Luis and Gio. So
Yeah.
Omar, it was an episode of me, Omar, and Riley. Omar took the fucking show over and just did nothing but talk about X-Men for the longest time. And those guys hit it off amazingly. These guys immediately. And so even a little bit after that, it was still just me, Jess, and Riley. But Riley, life got in his way and he wasn't showing up as much. So it was a lot of me and Jess. So I was just like, let's get Omar on here. And this is also about the time where I took the show away. This sounds bad, but this is the time I took the show away from Luis and Riley's channels. And I decided we need to make this a dedicated channel so that people can find us. That way we can do sponsorships. That way we can follow all of our views, all of our subscribers. We know exactly who's here for OmniBros. And then that's when we got Omar to become a part of the fold as well. So,
oh yeah,
welcome.
I forgot it used to be hosted alternating between Riley and Louise.
Yeah, you guys. Had
Yeah, and that was the problem. Was it's like nobody knew what was going on, who to follow. Like, is it Riley this week? Is it Luis this week? And stuff like that. So that's when I made it a dedicated channel. And
it was a good decision.
Yeah.
Very good decision.
Yeah, so I was the sixth member of Menudo here. But no, I'm glad that these guys asked me on because it's been like I said, I've met the most wonderful people with this hobby, and this show is no exception.
No, I'm happy to have you on, man.
Yeah, we appreciate having you on a lot. This has been.
I'm surprised you guys kept me on as much shit as I gave you guys like the first two times I was on.
That's what it's all about, man. It's all about giving each other. And then, like I said, like I didn't want us. I still am this way. Where I try not to have us miss a show. Like we can't miss Wednesday. We can't miss a Monday show. We can't miss a Thursday show. So there's been times where it's been like me or Jess. Like we've done the show by ourselves just to keep the momentum and schedule going.
I remember one time my wife and I were coming back home late, and I'm looking at the channel, and Jess had decided, he was like, I remember on the chat, he was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And I see he's on the show by himself. And of course, people watch Jess just by himself. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to jump on and help him. And he did not need any help, but I just wanted to get in there and chat with him. So it was, yeah. Now we actually have a schedule of every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We will be on.
At least, if not more. I mean, we did
one of us will be on, and then we have a Sunday episode that you guys did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I would like to have Matt and Nick back on too. I'd love to have more people from like the chat or from the group show up on here as well every so often.
Oh, here's a good question. Omar, have you tried ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca?
Yeah.
How'd you know how to pronounce that?
Because Robin took it on the Howard Stern show.
Is that a drug or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't, and I feel like I should because my mom and dad have.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
No. That's how I know what it is.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, it's funny to think about them now. Like, they were pretty big partiers. Like, I remember, I was telling my wife this. I remember waking up when I was a kid, and there were, like, people passed out all over, like, our house. And I was, like, 7 years old, like, my daughter's ages, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people in my living room? And I would go slowly back into my own room.
Oh my god,
have, like,
that's hilarious.
Parties at our houses and stuff. God knows what happened. I don't know. If they're anything like me, I can only imagine.
But yeah, I want to get Nick on, but Nick is like so fancy, he has to go to school and can't make it on the show. So
yeah, he's actually trying to do something successful with his life, right? Like,
yeah, this is OmniBros, man. Come on, fuck your degree.
That is one of my favorite things that, like, Jess says, like, on the chat. So we have a chat between us to be like, okay, what are we talking about and things like that. Like, we, believe it or not, we sometimes prep for these shows. One of my favorite things was like, guys, I'm traveling out of the country. Jess is like, are you a goddamn OmniBro or not? Are you going to be on the Thursday show or not? I'm like, I want to be out of the country.
Our chat is just us talking shit, and then 2 minutes before the show starts, it's like, oh, we need a topic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've gone for 2 hours. That was a great question.
Yeah, that was. We had a lot of good questions tonight. Really good job from the chat.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much. And this is a good time for me to mention our fabulous sponsor, In Stock Trades, where you can get up to 50% off on your collected editions. Over $50 in an order can get you free shipping in the United States. They've got loyalty discounts. Every quarter, they'll have an OmniBros discount. Fabulous packaging and the best customer service. That's instocktrades.com.
And shout out to everybody that used our OmniBros code the last week. I hope that was really successful for not only the viewers and the customers, but I hope that was successful for IST as well.
Yeah, I think everybody won on that one.
Yeah.
And so, Omar, where can they find you?
They can find me on my channel called Near Mint Condition, where we talk about similar things that we talk about here, but it's a different group of friends that I cheat on with these guys. And I'm starting a new segment on Saturday where it's I think I've talked a little bit about it. It's called Old Reader, New Reader. It's where I go back and reread something, and for the first time, two of my co-hosts are reading something new. So this time we're doing Infinity Gauntlet because I haven't read it in like 10 years, and they have never read it. So I'm curious to know what they think. And they're new readers to, like, they've only been reading comics for like a year or so. So I'm curious to see what they think.
It's a great idea.
That's coming out on Saturdays when we decided to do it. So I'll put it on the Facebook group, but it's on my channel. So
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. And you know, they're two females. They're a lot prettier to look at than I am. So.
Wait, you have two females on your show? I thought it was just the one.
Oh, no, these are two other females.
Oh, okay. Damn, Omar, just got like this, binder full of women to pull out.
That's the thing about living in Kentucky, man. This is the land of women.
Oh man.
Said no one ever.
I was about to say, like, what's the ratio of teeth?
Easy.
Not on your friends, just everybody else in Kentucky.
Meth is in Eastern Kentucky, man. It's bad. And Gabe, where can they find you?
You can find me on here on YouTube as well, Gabe Infinity Watch, and on Instagram, Gabe Infinity Watch there as well. And if you're ever in Vegas, stop by the greatest comic book store on the planet called Torpedo, and you can see me in person. We can chat and hang out and talk about comics there too. So
you've seen several OmniBros in real life, haven't you?
Yeah.
The store.
Yeah, luckily I have the job where I have a public job where people can come see me anytime. But there's people who come out of state who come to Vegas for conventions or come to state for work or whatever. They stop by the show and they go, "Hey, I know you. You're from the OmniBros show." Stuff like that. So it's always really cool to see that kind of come across.
That is great. And you can find me, OmniDog, at OmniDog's Vault on YouTube. I just did a video on Irredeemable and why it's my favorite comic, and also on Instagram. God, I'm so bad at that. I gotta post stuff at OmniDogs_Vault. Where you'll find something from 2 weeks ago. I haven't updated it. So that's it for tonight. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the great participation and great questions. Guys, it was a pleasure doing the show with you as always.
Yes, always a pleasure, gentlemen. And thank you, everybody in the chat.
You all take care, everybody.
Night.
All the
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Flame on.